if you're thinking about should you go into accounting or finance, accounting and finance go hand in hand, right? So a lot of colleges will allow you to take, like my college, it was a public university, University of Texas at San Antonio. We had the ability to, well, it's a requirement, right? The degree program says you can, if you're taking any business major really, so I'm just focusing on accounting and finance, you have to take the basic, let's say you're a finance major, you have to take the basic accounting classes. That's accounting one and accounting two. Those are the basic accounting classes. If regardless of accounting or finance major, you have to take those. And if you are an accounting major, you have to take corporate finance one, corporate finance two. Those are the basics. So this allows you to have kind of like a what do you call it, to have a background in, to be knowledgeable in both sides. So accounting and finance, they go hand in hand. So even if you, let's say your school doesn't allow you to do that, right? If you're a finance major, you just take finance classes. But you're thinking like, if I graduate and I don't get a job in finance, I want to get a job in accounting. But am I going to be able to get that job in accounting with only a finance degree? Most of the time, if you go to a job, right? For example, let's say you are a financial analyst, right? And you're preparing things like the income statement. You're doing, let's say you're forecasting, you're trying to predict how much revenue the business is going to have in the next 6 months. How do you find the data? The data that you're going to be using is going to be data from accounting, historical data, which is what accountants do. They, keep record of things, of, data, payments, money, all that, and you use that data. Now, if you're working as an accountant, you are preparing that data for a financial analyst or someone else to use that data to create projections, right? Now, this is all connected. And by doing that, let's say you're a financial analyst, you're using an accountant's data. Sometimes you're not always going to be able to understand the data. So you have, the option to communicate with the accountant. But just doing that, it's kind of like working the two positions at once, like at the same time. And the more you work, the more you become more knowledgeable about accounting because you use accounting data. And sometimes you need someone to explain to you how the data is being used or how the data looks or something like that. Here's my recommendation for everyone that majors in accounting or finance and they're not sure what they want to do. With accounting, when you graduate, you work as let's say, like a staff accountant, right? Like you work in the financial reporting department of a company. Now, if you enjoy doing that, if you enjoy the work, if you enjoy, doing like all the reporting and things like that, if you enjoy that work, go for your for the CPA, right? Go for your master's or CPA. If you're in finance, you have a bachelor's degree, you're working in finance, financial analyst, you enjoy the work, go for the master's degree or get a CFA, or I think that's what's called, CFA. Get that. But if you don't enjoy it, then don't get the CFA, don't get the CPA. When you graduate from college and you have, let's say, 5 years to work, and when you're working within those 5 years, you realize that you don't like accounting, then switch to finance. If you don't like finance, switch to accounting. And I'm assuming that, you are a person that's interested in working in business or and not just business, but like those two fields, right? Because that's the focus of this question. But you shouldn't really worry about if you major in accounting, you're not going to be able to do finance. You're going to be able to do both. You can switch in between. It doesn't matter. You can always switch in between.